Hi everyone, you're back with the Lone Wolf once again. Welcome to the channel. I thought I'd take this opportunity to talk a bit more about the Lone Wolf philosophy, the Lone Wolf lifestyle if you will. Many of you will understand as a man what it means to go your own way, and while I wouldn't call this a strictly MGTOW channel per se, I definitely believe that there are aspects of this philosophy that can be extremely powerful for personal development and success in men of all ages. There certainly seems to be a number of interpretations of this lifestyle that are out there. Some men continue to date and enjoy relationships with women, others shun all of that completely. There are even some dudes out there who are married but fully support the benefits and rationale behind this lifestyle. Given all that, I'm going to take you through the elements that I've taken on board personally and adopted in my own life. I would say I've followed this philosophy consciously for the best part of 8 years, and unconsciously for most of my adult life. Firstly, however, a bit of background on my relationship history is necessary, I think. I'd like to point out that although there are men that identify as MGTOW who really dislike women and don't hang around with them and get rid of them out of their lives, I don't. I work with many women on a professional basis and have a substantial amount of female friends and have positive relationships. On the contrary, I love attractive, intelligent women and I'm just as into them as the next guy. I endeavour to treat them like peers, and hopefully my thoughts around this become clearer to you as I go on and progress with the channel. What I will not tolerate, however, is the loss of freedom, the overreaching power of the state, and the act of being forced to accept an abysmal deal with atrocious terms. Like a lot of men that approach situations from a cost-benefit analysis, the dating market with respect to male-female dynamics is a complete joke, and the juice just isn't worth the squeeze. In terms of background, the original, relationships that I had at school and so on, and that formed a foundation for this philosophy, there was a girl that I was really into back in high school, around, that would be year 7, around the age of about 12, 13, I think. And she just had a succession of relationships with guys that were older than her in the years above. And they weren't the best dudes. They were people that always got into trouble, the bad boys, if you will. And I was completely, almost blue-pilled in my thinking in those days. And made it very clear that I was into her, but there was never any chance of getting involved because I was kind of a bit of a nerd back then, a bit of a geek. Did pretty well at school, and she just never entertained any. I mean, when I got older into sort of year 10, year 11, around 15, 16, and we all started socialising, and I was a lot more popular then. I sort of changed my vibe and developed myself a bit, got into music. I think I mentioned a few videos ago that she actually expressed that she was into me at some point, but then she ended up leaving the school and moving somewhere else. And I think now she does have kids. She actually added me on Facebook about a week ago. It just came out of the blue. And I just can't believe I was ever attracted to her because, and believe me, at school I was like absolutely obsessed almost for a long time, about 3 or 4 years. Because you know what it's like, you're just completely supercharged with hormones back then. And I couldn't believe I was attracted to her because she just looked like garbage. She looked just worn out, just completely jaded and spent. Just looked like she was on meth almost. And part of that is kind of sad from my perspective, but then again, you've got to view that as if you've dodged a massive bullet. And so that's where the sort of foundation came from. And then progressing from there were different women at different stages of my adult development, through school, through university, through the workplace, and beyond. And up until the age of about 23. And all of this was a similar sort of pattern that followed. Maybe that's because I'm I'm just attracted to the wrong kind of women, or women are just inclined to go for the bad boys, I don't know. There was one at university who I actually plucked up the courage to approach and start talking to, and then, we were exchanging glances quite a bit, and I must have misread those signals. Again, she's another one that ended up adding me on social media. But this girl at university was quite attractive, and we just sort of started saying hello to each other, and then I started to chat a bit more. and then made it clear that I wanted to take her out. But then she just deflected, and she said that I think she appreciated that I'd actually approached, but she was already with somebody else, and I had no idea what he looked like. But I eventually saw them together, and this guy was like a complete dweeb. So he was like, he wasn't tall, he wasn't particularly muscular, he was shorter than she was, and didn't seem all that mature. And I was just like, what? There must be something wrong with the game. If you're somebody who is 6 foot plus, who was training heavily at that time, I was very much into developing my physical strength at that time. I was doing barbell lifts on a consistent basis, and I was around 21. And these are attributes that women universally really seem to find attractive. So that was a bit bizarre. And yeah, I checked her out recently on social media, and her looks have completely changed as well. She's touching 30 years old now. So after all of this BS, I decided that from that point on I would be completely indifferent, and that was at the relatively young age of 23. I'll engage with women as friends just as I would any man, just forging productive working relationships and get on with the job. It's not being bitter. I just don't like wasting my time or effort. I think my worldview really chimes most with Henry Rollins. And if none of you have checked out Henry Rollins, I would definitely urge you to look at some of his interviews. His philosophy is completely up there with my own. I think it aligns most with mine in terms of the attitude towards relationships. In my early 20s, way back then, I would try to research and improve my quote-unquote game, as the pooers say, but I came to the realization that it would have been an act, a deception. Why should I not be who I am? Why should I say the right things just to curry favor? Is it really worth it? I decided to step away from that because the operative word is indifference. I do love being indifferent. It's such a powerful stance to have, a mentality of abundance, and an insatiable drive to better myself in every regard and do it for me, nobody else. I discovered going my own way by accident in 2014 after watching the video Where Did All the Good Men Go on Paul Elam's channel. This led to a lot more research, coming across channels and educators such as Sandman, Truth Over Everything, Louis Marco, Stardust, the late Paul Proteus, Girl Writes What, Barbarossa, Tom Leykis' show, Mark Rudov, and many others. I found these videos and channels to be illuminating, informative, and self-affirming. And indeed, I was already practicing many of the lifestyle aspects espoused by these engaging creators. It all made sense to me now. I was going my own way in all but name. A lone wolf. Rather than feeling sorry for myself, I now see all of this experience as a gift. I've been doing things right my entire life. I was never in the same country as the plantation, which suits me just fine. As Truth Over Everything discussed way back in his classic videos, an average man learns from his own mistakes, a great man learns from the mistakes of others. Over the past 10 years, I've lost countless friends to women in relationships. I've also seen innumerable divorces occur in my close family, and yet more externally. The merits of marriage are scant if there are any at all, and I'll be fleshing this out in subsequent videos. I remember again, back in 2014, when I had just become self-aware on a lot of these topics. It was New Year and I was around a best friend's house with another close friend and both of their partners. For the record, I get on very well with both of them and didn't have a problem with their girlfriends at all, they're fine. However, I had watched Sandman's video called Shaming Single Men, and it was still fresh in my mind. It occurred to me that I was always the single guy at family gatherings and social occasions. We had a bit to drink and went outside to see the fireworks. Both of the dudes went back inside, leaving me with their girlfriends, and as the conversation progressed, they tried to assert that if I didn't get someone, i.e. a relationship, then I would be miserable for the rest of my life. The conversation ending with, "Oh, you'll find somebody. There will be men out there that can identify with this shaming, I'm sure." For the record, my success rate with women and my relationship status does not define my life and has never defined my life in any regard. I measure my success on what I do and accomplish, not whether I can raise kids, have a family, or settle down. Again, I reiterate that I am indifferent, apathetic, and nonchalant about all of this. I'm proud of the fact. I'm not hateful, just indifferent. I'm not built for it. Truthfully, most women in my current age bracket, which is late 20s to early 30s, with any degree of attractiveness have been on the carousel. or have kids in tow. I've known since I was very young that I don't want to get married or have children. It just isn't who I am. In that regard, I share aspects of Louis Marco's philosophy on this back when he used to produce content in the space, in that I will gladly enter a relationship with the right woman, I just won't cohabit or get married. I like my space and believe that spending every minute of every day with the same person is counterproductive, gets stale, and is a drain on resources. If I was in a relationship, I wouldn't be able to read as much, build my career, put together business plans and other ventures, develop my passions and strive towards a successful and rewarding life. That's not to dismiss the fact that spending time with the right woman can be very rewarding, provided she is pleasant to be around and a net benefit to my life. So let me outline the powerful aspects of this lifestyle. At present, there are a wide range of channels putting out great content on this lifestyle, and the space has really grown in recent years. For example, Better Bachelor, Human, Coach Greg Adams, and the original creators such as Sandman. All of them have produced lengthy, detailed discourses on the merits of a lone wolf philosophy, going your own way. Although I had my suspicions, I was still overwhelmed to hear that some of the greatest minds in human history followed a similar lifestyle, including but not limited to Isaac Newton, Nikola Tesla, and Leonardo da Vinci. Nobody could accuse those legends of underachieving in life, that's for certain. And we should strive to emulate their accomplishments by virtue of their lifestyle. Put simply, plough your energy into your passions, hobbies, dreams, and ambitions. Build your kingdom up around you and aim as high as possible. I personally would rather aim for the cosmos and reach the stratosphere. Screw conservative goals. For the reasons that many of these channels have covered, marriage, relationships, and children in most cases make these aspirations difficult at best and impossible at worst. I put this to you: abandon the status quo and the expectation society has of you. Don't take my word for it. Do your own research. Take away the information in this video and assess it, critique it, make up your own mind, exercise critical thought and question every aspect. It is my view, however, that a lone wolf lifestyle is almost like a superpower when followed with discipline and drive. I'd love to hear your comments on these thoughts and perspectives down below. If you found the content useful, please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel. As always, thanks for listening, and I'll see you in the next video.